By now, we've all heard of sexual harassment and discrimination and retaliation, and most of us in our lives will have to deal with it, or we'll see it, or we'll experience it, which is why we're here right now to talk about some of the new laws surrounding these issues in the workplace. At the end of this, we're all going to learn something new. It's going to take a little time and a few conversations, but knowledge is power, right? You will spend 35% of your adult life at work. It's an integral part of our days. We all deserve a productive and positive environment, which is why it's important to stay up on legal and societal changes that impact our working lives. While it's been decades since federal courts first recognized sexual harassment as a form of sex discrimination, harassment still keeps making headlines. From Hollywood power players to the nation's capital, and in all industries in between, sex and power sometimes combine to create harassment, discrimination, and retaliation, which is damaging to our workspaces, companies, industries, and to our productivity. As women entered male-dominated workplaces at the beginning of the 20th century, sex harassment was fairly common, driven by desire or hostility. Women had little recourse and were often told they should find another job. The courts offered some relief, but it wasn't until the 1970s that a nationwide conversation on discrimination resulted in the civil rights movement and allowed women to build a legal foundation to expand the fight against sexual harassment. And in recent years, the LGBT community has joined the fight against sex harassment in the workplace, and new laws protecting the rights of all employees are now firmly in place. That is what this program is about today. What was so overt at the beginning of the 20th century now has subtle nuances that cause discriminatory or harassing behavior, so it's important to understand how to recognize and identify what may be considered harassment, discrimination, or retaliation in the workplace. In this session, you will learn how to identify and avoid discrimination and harassment, as well as how to avoid and/or respond to retaliation. There is a spectrum, but there are also clear markers for each. Why is this important? Well, not only does the state of California require employers of a certain size to train supervisors and employees, but it's important to know your company policies and procedures, because not only are companies sued for illegal behavior, but individuals are too. After all, we spend a lot of time at work. Everyone should feel productive and safe. Let's get started.